Bruins, Islanders, Mario. Islanders won the series 4-2 and will face the Boston Bruins in the second round of the playoffs, which starts Saturday. I'm pretty sure the Bruins have home rank advantage because the Bruins are number 3 and the Islanders are number 4. So I'm pretty sure the Bruins will get home rank advantage. And if so, Islanders, get ready. TD Garden, 100% capacity. You guys better be ready because I'm telling you right now, you're facing the Boston Bruins. Going to be a good series. But let's talk about this game first before I even become a salty Boston fan. I'll start off with stats. We'll go with the Islanders first. Anthony Belleville, Mario, he had a goal, 2 assists, and 2 shots on goal. Brock Nelson had himself 2 goals, an assist, and 4 shots on goals. Kyle Palmieri, he had a goal and 3 shots on goals. Ryan Pollock had himself a goal and 2 shots on goals. And Sorokin, Mario, he did a good job again. You know, he had 34 saves out of 37 shots made by the Penguins, which is a save percentage of 91. So he did a really good job for the Islanders as usual. He usually does. For the Penguins, let me go to them. Jason Zucker, Jeff Carter, and Jake Gwenzel. I'm pretty sure I said that right. They all had the goal in the game. Cody Ceci, he had himself an assist, and Avengi Malkin, he had 2 assists as well, and Chris Letang had an assist as well. Let me go to Tristan Jarry. He didn't have a good game, Mario. He only saved 19 shots out of the 24 made by the Islanders, which is a save percentage of 79. So he did not have a good game at all. And you could point to a factor as to why they lost this game. Now let me go to the box stats for this game, Mario. Shots on goal, the Penguins at 37 in comparison to the Islanders 24. So they had them beat on that, but again, it didn't help them in their favor. Face-off percentage, the Islanders at 56.1 and the Penguins at 43.9, so pretty much 44%. Power plays, both teams had 2. The Penguins made 1 of those 2 power plays, and the Islanders didn't make any. Penalty minutes, they both had 4 minutes. Penalty minutes, hits-wise, the Penguins had 31, the Islanders had 30. The block-wise, Islanders had 23, and the Penguins had 11. Giveaways, the Islanders had 5. And the Penguins at 7, and takeaways, the Penguins at 3, and the Islanders at 5. So let's talk, okay? First of all, congratulations to the New York Islanders on moving on to the second round. I'm not wishing you guys too much luck because, again, you're facing the Boston Bruins in the second round. We need to go back to the Stanley Cup, and, yeah, you need to be our next victim. So, yeah, not wishing you too much luck. But, look, the Islanders did a really good job, Mario. You know, they scored 5 goals. They won 5-3. They're advancing in the second round. They're facing the Boston Bruins. It's going to be a really good series. So let's talk. What went wrong for the Penguins? Well, there could be a couple of things. There's a couple of things. For one thing, they just weren't making their goals. You know, they shot 37 times, and while they did get 3 in, which I do give them credit on, it just wasn't enough for them to win the game. You know, the Islanders only shot 24 times and made 5 of them. So I think what really cost them a lot was they just weren't making their goals. And another thing that cost them, of course, like I mentioned before, Tristan Jarry just wasn't having his best game, you know? And that was just the worst possible time for him to have a really bad game because the series went back to New York. All the Islanders had to do was win 1 game and they advanced. All you had to do was win that game and force a game 7. And, you know, I get it. You know, we all have bad games, and that's fine. But Tristan Jarry just had his bad game at the worst possible time. So that could also lead to it. Penguins defense just wasn't – they didn't hold the line enough. You know, Mario, Tristan Jarry wasn't having a good game. And, you know, if they noticed that, they would have reinforced their defense a little bit more. And that just wasn't the case. They didn't reinforce their defense. And because of that, they lost the game. I feel like those were some of the biggest factors of that game. As for the Islanders, they did a really good job, Mario, but there is a couple of things worth mentioning. Power plays didn't make any. You cannot do that against the Boston Bruins. They will, if you do not make any power play goals against the Boston Bruins, they will capitalize against that. That's what the Boston Bruins do. That's a Boston Bruins thing for them to do. Same thing with shots on goal. You only had 24 of them. Again, the Boston Bruins will capitalize on that. They will shoot more than that. That's the Boston Bruins way. That's what we do. You know what I mean? So if I'm the New York Islanders, you know, the series is coming a lot closer than expected. It starts Saturday. It's going to be in TD Garden, 100% capacity. It's going to get loud in there. The environment's going crazy. You know what I mean? If I'm the New York Islanders, I need to play either just as good as the Bruins or better, which don't do either of the two because I want to see my Bruins win. You know what I mean? But look, But anyway, congratulations to the New York Islanders on moving on. As for the Pittsburgh Penguins, best of luck to you guys in the offseason. I do wish you guys the best of luck and, try again next year. That's really all you can say. As for the Islanders, not too much luck to you guys because, again, you're facing us, and I can't wait for that. It's going to be a really good series, Mario, overall. As long as the Islanders can keep pace with the Boston Bruins, this is going to be a really good series, But we'll predict that tomorrow. I won't give you guys my prediction just yet. But with that being said, best of luck to the Penguins. Not too much luck to the Islanders, and we'll see what happens, Mario.
Yeah, Nate. Well, first of all, I just want to say this: the star of this series was Josh Bailey. That was the star of this series right there, Josh Bailey. And Josh Bailey did a great job, Nate. And he was involved in every single game. And that was a big factor to the reason why the Islanders lasted against the Penguins in those overtimes. He was a big factor to the reason why they were beating the Penguins even when it wasn't going overtime. Josh Bailey was one of the only guys that were really getting involved. But there were other guys too. Again, Peugeot, he was getting involved as well. I was happy to see Palmieri get back in, Nate. And same thing with Brock Nelson, because Brock Nelson was good like the earlier in the series, but then later on, Palmieri and Nelson weren't there, So I'm glad that they got more back into the game. As for the Penguins, it's the same thing. Jeff Carter scored a goal, which, again, good job to him, but I wanted him to come out earlier than what they did. And last but not least, Sidney Crosby. Where'd you see him? You couldn't really see him later on in the series, and that was a big problem. They stopped Sidney Crosby. I think that was another big reason why the Islanders won. Another thing was Tristan Jarry. He didn't have a great game. You said it best, Nate. Like, he didn't have a great game, and this was the worst time for him to have a bad game. And last but not least, Sorokin. When it mattered, he came in, he stepped up, and he did what he needed to do. So I got to give him a lot of credit as well. As for the game stats, Nate, one thing you could point to for the Islanders winning is face-off percentage, 56.1 to 43.9. That matters. You can point to blocks, 23 compared to the Penguins, 11. They had 2 less giveaways than the Penguins, and they had 2 more takeaways than the Penguins. So you can look at that stuff right there as well. First period, it was extremely offensive. It was 2-2, and then second period came. Penguins took a 3-2 lead. Then obviously the Islanders tied it up, and then they scored the next 2 and gave them the 5-3 lead in the second period. In the third period, there were no goals. So in the third period, right, the Penguins shot 12 shots on goal compared to the Islanders 5, and Sorokin did a good job of stopping those, And overall, both teams did a good job of making sure, their goalie was protected. Obviously, 37 is a little more than average, but regardless, Sorokin did a good job, and the Islanders did what they needed to do. One thing I point to for the Islanders heading into Boston, they got to be more physical, 30 hits is good, but be prepared for the Bruins to hit you more.
Brad Marchand, baby.
That is a very physical team. You can point to Marchand. I think McAvoy, to be honest, is probably their forcer. So you got to watch out for him as well. You got to be physical. And again, I think it's going to be a good series. I think the Islanders played well. If I'm the Bruins, I'm pointing to guys like guys who did good in this series, like Josh Bailey. I'm pointing to guys like Peugeot. I'm pointing to guys like Beauvillier. I'm pointing to those types of guys because they did a really good job. But I think really what the Penguins didn't do good with, Nate, was getting, again, Sidney Crosby and Malkin involved. I wanted to see them get involved more than what they did, and it didn't happen. But regardless, I wish the Penguins the best of luck in the offseason. Again, you guys are my rivals. Next year, I expect Columbus Blue Jackets to be in these playoffs, but they're not. But regardless, I wish the Penguins the best of luck in the offseason. Again, congratulations to the Islanders and best of luck against the Boston Bruins.